Blasphemous generalizations. A generalization is a broad statement. It covers more than one without any particular limitation. General statement is not limited. So a general statement, it covers all the named individuals or described individuals. Anyone who has that name or anyone who has that description is covered in the generalization. This is a frequent case of someone blaspheming without wanting to, and then fighting for all of his life to deny that he committed blasphemy. Among the important cases to note is that some statements are blasphemous unless qualified. Unless there's a qualification, it means it's a broad statement, but there's something that shows that what's intended by the broad statement is something qualified, meaning limited, specified. Something in particular is meant, although the words themselves are open. Open words, but these open words are really only for something in particular. What's meant by them is not as open as the words themselves are. Without the proper restrictions, if applicable, if those restrictions are applicable, the generalization is blasphemy. Yani, if the meaning of the statement is a blasphemous meaning. For example, whoever said to a Muslim, "Damn your deen," he blasphemes. Okay, so it looks like it says, "Damn your religion," deen, but we need to put the word deen here, not religion. This example is for something in Arabic language. He blasphemes by saying, "Damn your deen." That's what some scholars say. That's what the Sheikh said. But someone might say, "Wait, deen has more than one meaning in Arabic. Didn't we say that when the statement can have more than one meaning, it's not explicit? Can we rush to say that when a person says, 'Damn your deen,' he blasphemes?" That's what some scholars said. But some said that if the speaker meant by the deen one's behavior or his lifestyle, then he does not blaspheme. And some scholars, some Hanafi scholars said he will blaspheme if he does not qualify his statement. What they are saying is, what this means is, according to them, this word deen means religion without something to take it another way. They are saying it needs something to take it another way so that it won't mean religion. So they said it will be blasphemy if someone says, "Damn your deen," if he does not qualify his statement. Meaning, he did not intend the person's own conduct and he did not intend the religion of Islam. That's the meaning of not qualifying his statement. Not qualifying his statement means it's left open. Did he intend? He did not intend the person's own conduct, his own behavior or lifestyle, nor did he intend the religion of Islam. He just said the open statement, "Damn your deen." Then some of them said it's blasphemy without the qualification. Some said it's blasphemy unless it's blasphemy if he does not mean. Some said it's blasphemy if he does not mean one's behavior or lifestyle. Let's take another example here. Saying, and this is definitely a general statement, "A dog is more loyal than a man." That's a broad statement. So this would mean that everything that's called a dog is included here, and everything that's called a man is included here. That's why you need to be mindful what you say. It's going to be for you or against you. Believe firmly that whatever you say is for you or against you. And don't think that these matters depend on your intention merely. Remember, blasphemy does not require an intention. Sin does not require an intention. Blasphemy is a sin. Sin does not require an intention. If someone said a dog is more loyal than a man, that's blasphemy for including the prophets and including the saints, unless the context clues prove that he meant a particular man. Like what? What kind of context would be there that proves that he meant a particular man? Like, one person in particular was disloyal. And so someone said, and he means him, the one he's talking to, this disloyal one. He says a dog is more loyal than a man. And he means you disloyal one right now. So there's a context that directs his statement to that one. That's why this first example is here, because of how some of them say, if it has a context and he doesn't blaspheme. When someone says, damn your deen, some of them say, if he has a context, he doesn't blaspheme. That's what put this example about damn your deen here. Or damning all religious scholars. That's blasphemy for being an attack on the religion. That's in the Mukhtasar also. Damning all religious scholars. Yani, that's in red. Red means my own words, but this is an example from the Sheikh's, just paraphrased. It's merely paraphrased. We can make that part black as a signal too that the Sheikh really gave that example in the summary of obligatory knowledge. Damning all religious scholars is blasphemy for being an attack on the religion. Unless the context clues prove that he meant a particular group of scholars. And that's still forbidden, though. What's the context clues here? That there's a conversation about the scholars of that town, or a conversation about the scholars of that time. So the conversation has the context. Then someone said a statement. The statement itself is broader than the context, but it's meant within the context. What's meant by that open statement is the context of the conversation. So someone, when they were talking about the scholars of that town or the scholars of that time, and then someone said, damn all the scholars, and he meant of this town or of this time, then he does not blaspheme. The Sheikh said, though, this is still forbidden. And saying all men are dogs is blasphemy for including the prophets and the saints. This one, Yani, the women need to be careful here. Then she's going to say, nah, I didn't mean it. You said it, though. We'll be against you. Would you say we'll be for you or against you? And insulting all women is blasphemy for insulting Saint Mary, because she's praised in the Quran in particular. Saying something like Arabs are a scourge is blasphemy for including some prophets and saints. Recently, someone sent me a question. Someone dispraised all Arabs. Their statement was open, dispraising all Arabs. So someone asked me, they said, this is the statement that was said, such and such. Is it blasphemy? So it seemed like it was blasphemy. And the person who said it was defending himself. No, I didn't mean all the Arabs. At the moment, I couldn't see where the context was. But then became clear after days, actually. And then I watched something. And then I realized, but by the context, he meant Arab rulers. When he said all the Arabs, he meant all the Arab rulers. He didn't say rulers, though. Because you know how some people, like during this time of the Palestinian genocide, so some people, they have words for the Arab rulers. They have opinions and feelings about the Arab rulers, their role in this or lack of being proactive according to them. So they say things against the Arab rulers because they believe that they could be doing more. But the way he said it was all the Arabs. Then I realized, he's talking about the rulers. So I sent the message immediately. Here's the context. It meant the rulers. So then they were happy. So be careful here. Saying the Quran is created is only forbidden unless one does not believe that Allah has an attribute of speech. Then saying it is blasphemy. Yeah. So, what does this mean? Saying the Quran is created, this statement, saying the Quran is created, is only forbidden, yani not blasphemy, unless one does not believe that Allah has an attribute of speech, which that's blasphemy in itself. If a person has the blasphemous conviction that Allah is not attributed with speech, that's blasphemy. And then on top of that, he says a statement. His statement while having that conviction is the Quran is created. Then when he says that, he blasphemes. Because when he doesn't believe that Allah has an attribute called speech, then his saying the Quran is created is insinuating something. One second. Then when he says the Quran is created, while he holds that belief, then he's insinuating something. Which is, he is reaffirming his denial of Allah's attribute by saying the Quran is created. While he denies that Allah has speech, he is reaffirming his belief that Allah is not attributed with speech. He's doubling down. He's denying that God has an attribute called speech. And then to double down, he says the Quran is created. So he will be committing blasphemy here. So in this case, when the statement is not associated with that, yani, his believing that Allah is, or denying that Allah has speech, is denying that Allah has speech is a context for the blasphemy. For the blasphemy, this is the reverse. In all these cases, we are saying when he has a context, he does not blaspheme. Here, this last case, he's not committing blasphemy unless there's the context that shows the blasphemy. Just saying the Quran is created is not blasphemy, it's haram. When he has in his heart the denial of Allah's attribute of speech, and then he says this statement, then that provides the context for confirming that he's blaspheming for this statement that the Quran is created. So, again, here, this very first example about damn your deen, and this very last example about the Quran being created, their relevance here in this spot is to draw attention to the meaning of the context, the meaning of context. When there's something outside of the statement, something outside of the statement, but it directs the statement one way or the other way. That's the point of them being here. Question says here, you said, didn't the Prophet ﷺ rule over the Muslims with the Islamic laws? Yes. Yani, the meaning of your question is, wouldn't he still be including the Prophet here when he said something about the Arabs and he meant the rulers? But also he meant at this time, though. The context proves he means now, while the genocide is going on and all the parties involved in the politics here. That's what he was talking about. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ. You're welcome. Lying, meaning blasphemous lies, a blasphemous lie. Whoever says while lying, Allah is my witness, or Allah knows that this matter I told about actually occurred. Then he has blasphemed for attributing ignorance to Allah. He said Allah is his witness while he was lying, or he said Allah knows that the issue is as I have said while he's lying. Then he blasphemes because he is attributing ignorance to Allah. That is, he is insinuating that Allah is ignorant, as if he is saying Allah does not know what really happened. God's knowledge about the matter is as I say. Is he saying God's knowledge of the matter is in accordance with my lie? What God knows is that my lie is true. That's what he's saying. So he's attributing ignorance to Allah. That's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. Because Allah knows that he is a liar and not truthful in what he said. This is different from the one who merely swears to a lie. He merely swears to a lie by saying, I swear to God that I did such and such. And he's lying though. He says, Wallahi, I did, but he didn't. Wallahi, I didn't, but he did. This is not blasphemy. It is a major sin. In Bughyatul Talib, our Shaykh said in explanation of this lie, this sin of the tongue. Amongst the sins of the tongue is al-kadhibu ala Allahi wa ala rasulih, lying on Allah and his messenger, and on his messenger. So the Shaykh, he clarified where blasphemy will be in such a lie. He said, among the examples of lying on Allah and his messenger that lead to blasphemy is ascribing Allah with legitimizing what he made forbidden in his religious law, and likewise to ascribe to him prohibiting what he made lawful for the believers. Likewise is to ascribe the messenger of Allah with legitimizing what Allah made forbidden for the believers. So, if someone lies on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by saying that he legalized what Allah made forbidden, or that he forbade what Allah made lawful, or that Allah legalized what he made forbidden, or forbade what he made legal, then this lie is a blasphemous lie. In the explanation of An-Nukhbah, Nukhbatul Fikr, that's hadith terminology, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said that Abu Muhammad al-Juwayni, that's the father of Imam al-Haramain, exaggerating and charging the one who fabricates a hadith with blasphemy. Meaning, according to Abu Muhammad al-Juwayni, the fabricator is a kafir. The hadith fabricator is a kafir. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said this is too far. And we agree with that. We agree with Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani here, that fabricating a hadith merely in and of itself is a major sin and not intrinsically blasphemy. This one, though, Abu Muhammad al-Juwayni, he's the same one that when he died, they witnessed his hand illuminated. And the people of knowledge said this is due to how many correct verdicts he wrote. Rahimahullah. This means that it is not blasphemy in itself, saying that he exaggerated here, but it's a major sin unless it has the descriptions of what has been previously mentioned, meaning unless this fabrication includes legalizing what Allah made illegal or illegalizing what Allah made legal, then it would be blasphemy. Footnote: sometimes one would fabricate a hadith because of his atheism, and his lack of religion, yani his irreligiousness or irreligiosity, if that's a word, his zanadiqah, his atheism, his ilhad, and his zanadiqah, his lack of religion. Because of that, he would fabricate on the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sometimes it would be a result of his extreme ignorance, so ignorant that he, in his ignorance, fabricates on the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and says that the Prophet said what he never said. Yet other times it may be motivated by bigotry, fabricating a hadith on the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, like the Shia, meaning because they want to support their way, support their party. That's their bigotry. They're wanting to support their party. They would fabricate a hadith. You be mindful before you debate with a Shi'i, or a Rawafid, or Rafidli, because they are liars. How are you going to debate with a liar? You need to have the tools to corner a liar. You need the tools to corner a liar, or else don't argue with him. It might be out of seeking the favor of rulers. That's what motivates one to fabricate. So he fabricates something to kiss up to a ruler, to a caliph or a governor. Or seeking fame for being someone who narrates what others do not narrate. Meaning he's amongst the people of hadith narration. And he wants to be known for something that no one else has. So he fabricates a hadith so that it would be deemed unique to him, that he has acquired a unique narration. So this is insincerity. His lack of love for the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. Because any person who loves the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam will not fabricate a hadith for his own gain. One time, one person was insulting the hadiths of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. Hadith denier, insulting the hadiths. He was talking to one of the brothers. But he was being polite with the brother and insulting the hadiths. So the brother was insulting him. So that one said to him, "Why you are insulting me? I'm not insulting you. We can talk uh, cordially, yani, civilly. We can talk. I'm not insulting you. Why you are insulting me?" So the brother told him, "I offer insult to anyone who insults the hadiths of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam." So that one didn't expect that, and that other one should be respecting and honoring the hadiths of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. He should stand by and let the Prophet's hadiths be insulted. That's what that one thought should be the case. And some fabricators get paid for being storytellers. So they fabricate lies about the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam to embellish the story. And some, like the Karramiyah and some fake Sufis, have legitimized fabrication to encourage the people to do good and to discourage them from sins. It's not a valid reason. There is no valid reason to fabricate. We say to them, they're going to say to us, no, I'm not fabricating against the Prophet. I'm fabricating for him. We say to such a fool, there is no need to fabricate for the Prophet. Excuse me. There is no need to fabricate for the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. Rather, the religion is already loaded with plenty of encouragements and discouragements, authentic ones. Plenty of authentic encouragements and discouragements. No need to fabricate. And here's another footnote This footnote goes with this sentence. This means that it is not blasphemy in itself to lie on Allah and lie on the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Depends on the contents of the lie. But it is a major sin unless it has the descriptions of what has been previously mentioned. Footnote here. The scholars have agreed that 1. Fabricating hadiths is a sin, and intentionally lying on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a major sin. Where does disagreement come from, though? We just said that Al-Juwayni said it's blasphemy to fabricate on the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Says here, the scholars have agreed that fabricating hadiths is a sin. Okay, yeah, for sure. So, I don't remember where is this here. Intentionally lying on the Prophet, it is a major sin, but that's an agreement? Yani, it is possible sometimes that a scholar would have a dissenting opinion, but still there is a consensus. Sometimes a scholar has a dissenting opinion that's not going to stop the consensus from being concluded. They're going to say, despite the existence of Fulan's difference, that there's no difference. That means they are disregarding his difference altogether. I don't know if that's what's happened here. I need to track where I took this from. But if I just separate it with a period, then becomes easier. The scholars have agreed that fabricating the hadiths is a sin. Intentionally lying on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a major sin, as proven by the hadith of Muslim. Inna kadhiban alayya laysa ka kadhibin ala ahad. Surely a lie on me is not like a lie on someone else. فَمَنْ كَذَبَ عَلَيَّ مُتَعَمِّدًا فَلْيَتَبَوَّأْ مَقْعَدَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. So let whoever intentionally lies about me prepare himself for his seat in hell. This talk either came from the explanation of Nukhbah or it came from the explanation of Al-Bayquniyah. We'll have to check inshallah and see. We'll track this down. Let me actually just highlight it so we can track it down, make sure it's accurate. Because the way it's worded is like both of these are a matter of consensus. The scholars have agreed that 1 and 2, that's the real meaning here, as if the period doesn't do much here. Intentionally lying on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a major sin. That's true, it is a major sin. They agree to that. That's true. They do agree that intentionally lying on the Prophet is a major sin. That's true. They agree that fabricating the hadith is a sin. They agree that intentionally lying on the Prophet is a major sin. That's true. So that is a matter of agreement. Even if someone said it's kufr, they're still saying it's a major sin because kufr is a major sin. So we're good. As proven by the hadith of Muslim that I just read to you, which means surely a lie on me is not like a lie on someone else. So let whoever intentionally lies about me prepare himself for his seat in hell. Yes. And the scholars have agreed that conveying a fabricated hadith is forbidden unless the conveyor clarifies that it is fabricated. Yes. Meaning it's not permissible to pass off a fabricated hadith without saying that it's fabricated, because then you're going to be saying it as if it's a real hadith. Then you'll be one of the liars. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that's evidenced by the hadith of Muslim. من حدث عني بحديث يرى أنه كذب فهو أحد الكاذبين. Whoever conveys a hadith about me that is seen to be a lie is one of the liars. He is participating in the lie. Question. So dissenting in opinion basically is a question? I'm not sure if I understand what you're asking. What is meant by it? Okay, dissenting opinion means اختلاف. اختلف فلان مع الآخرين. That's the dissenting opinion. The dissenting opinion is the opinion that disagrees with the others. So, could it be that there is a dissenting opinion about a case? Some of these scholars, or one of these scholars, said something contrary to the rest of them, and they still say there's a consensus despite his dissenting opinion? Yes. In that case, it means they are saying Fulan is wrong here. We don't regard his ijtihad. His ijtihad is disregarded, and the consensus is concluded despite it. That could happen. Like how some scholars disregarded what Abu Hanifa said, that if someone drinks an amount of intoxicating date-soaked water, that is not intoxicating, though the amount is not intoxicating. The date-soaked water has the intoxicating power, and he sips an amount so small that it is not intoxicating. That's not haram. So the scholars, they disregarded the saying of Abu Hanifa. Question. Does passing along a misinterpreted hadith versus a fabricated hadith have a different judgment? Okay. Well, when you say a misinterpreted hadith, the misinterpretation is other than the hadith itself. So passing off the hadith, if it's a hadith, a real hadith, then passing the hadith is itself permissible. It's the misinterpretation that is the problem, not the hadith. Misinterpreting a hadith is haram or an ayah. That's what we learn about what happened in one of the incidents between Ali and Muawiyah. Because it happened that Ammar, the great companion, he was killed in the battle of Siffin, fighting on Ali's side. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, وَيْحَ عَمَّارٍ تَقْتُلُهُ الْفِئَةُ الْبَاغِيَةُ. Woe is Ammar, the unjust group shall kill him. So, who killed him? The army of Muawiyah. So, when he was killed, one of Muawiyah's assistants came to him and said to him, Ammar was killed. Muawiyah said, so what? Yeah, Muawiyah knows the hadith, by the way. Muawiyah told him, so what? So he told him, you know what the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said about him? So Muawiyah said, did we kill him? No, we did not. The one who killed him, those who killed him, his killers are those who sent him out to fight. We are not the ones who killed him. His killers are those who sent him out to fight. So he's saying, Ali and his group, they are the unjust group because they are his killers, because they are the ones who sent him out to fight. And so he got killed. So when Ali heard that, when that reached Ali, Then Ali said, then Muhammad killed Hamza. Because who sent Hamza out to fight? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So that if the way Muawiyah is explaining the hadith of Ammar being killed is the proper interpretation, then it means, according to that, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is Hamza's killer, his uncle's killer. He killed his own uncle. So the scholars said Ali's answer is irrefutable. Yani, it's invincible. Ali's answer to that, to what Muawiyah said, is an invincible answer. Yeah, and we learned that Muawiyah's attempt to explain the hadith in that way is haram because it's a misinterpretation. And yani, deliberate though. He knows that. Muawiyah knows that. Not to turn this into Muawiyah issue though, this topic here. But no, before I move on, that Muawiyah did not legalize what he was doing. Some people, they fight here, and they actually legalize what Muawiyah did not. Muawiyah himself did not legalize what he was doing. We say he knew he was wrong. Okay, so inshallah, that answers your question for you. It's not the hadith that's the problem. It's going to be the misinterpretation. That's the problem. You can follow up if you want to. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Beacom Sheikh. My question actually is about, sometimes people will say that there's a hadith that said if there's non-halal meat, you can just say Bismillah and eat it.
So they are producing the hadith in a way. It's not that they are perverting the hadith, but they are producing it in a way to justify something unjustifiable.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's haram.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But some people,
misinterpretation is implied according to your question.
Right, but they also they believe this because it's said so many times. So how I'm not it confuses me.
Yeah, they're so sinful,
but it's still haram even though they're confused.
Yeah. Because don't forget, if you take a mistake from someone, there's still going to be your mistake too. Now you've joined the mistaken ones. Yani,
okay, I understand.
Yeah. That's why in the afterlife, the kuffar will be bickering with each other. Those who are followers would say to their leaders, "You're the ones who invited us to this place." And the leaders would say to them, "We didn't force you to be kuffar. You chose to not believe," like this. And other proofs.
Just clear.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to be careful, to be meticulous in your religion. Even if you have a good sheikh who is accurate, you still need to always be on your toes, because perhaps he could slip and then you take a mistake from him. And if you did, hopefully it's not a devastating mistake. Hopefully it's a forgivable one, or something that Allah will pardon. Ameen wa fikum. And now, the brother says here, this proves that Muawiyah himself understood who is al-fi'atul baghiyah, the unjust group, and that it means unjust actually doesn't mean seeking the truth. Yes, Muawiyah, he knew this hadith means those who are unjust. It doesn't mean those who are seeking the truth, because he strove to clear himself of the hadith. If he thought this hadith meant they are seeking the truth, then he wouldn't have to clear himself from the hadith. He would say, yeah, we are. We are the ones seeking the truth. When it was that he was striving to clear himself of the hadith, we knew this because he understood the blame that is in the hadith.
That's all they can say.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm starting to, what the brother asked about the people, they took their hadith wrong about the meat.
Yes.
Yeah, Aisha. I'm seeing that it's been an issue, but it's starting to pop up again. I've seen it on social media now. Because you're seeing those, say they Muslim, with the haram. Yeah, my son was telling me this now. About the haram meat. People in schools saying Bismillah over the haram food and stuff like that. Like, they taking that hadith and misconstruing it. Telling people that it's, man, sure.
Yeah. People are going to do that because they want to eat the meat. So,
Yeah, that's what my son just said. He said, oh, they just greedy.
yeah.
Man, sure.
So when a person wants to do something, he's going to justify for himself doing what he wants to do. Subhanallah. He will lack he will lack precaution. MashaAllah. Ameen wa fikum. Yeah, I think probably anywhere, especially Muslims in non-Muslim places, they are making an excuse for themselves to eat this haram meat. Some of them say, we're in a Christian country, and the rule is not about being in a Christian country. The rule is about who slaughtered the animal that you're eating its meat, not what country you're in.
I was taught that, but one, okay, say Bismillah for some haram, and thinking that Allah is going to reward them for the haram, doesn't that take them out of Islam?
But they misunderstood the rule, though. It was going to be blasphemy to say Bismillah for the haram when the person realizes truly is haram. Like he's drinking wine. He knows that's haram. He has no misconception here. And then he says Bismillah, seeking blessings from that, then that's going to be blasphemy.
Okay, so, all right, I'm not going to go further. Go ahead, that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, what's the difference, Sheikh, that you pointed out? But just
The difference is when a person the difference is that in this case, when some people are saying, say Bismillah and eat, and they're saying Bismillah over haram meat, but they're not believing that it's really haram. They're believing that they are believing that they are doing something prescribed in religion. So we're not going to deem them as kuffar here. We're going to teach them. Whereas the other one who says that for drinking wine, for example, he has no misconception that the wine is haram. So if he said Bismillah, seeking blessings, then he blasphemes. Those people are saying, for us to say Bismillah over the meat and eat is what the Prophet told us to do, in their misconception, though. So we're not going to say they committed blasphemy. But I might say to one of those people, so why do we need to slaughter anything anyway then? Why don't we just say Bismillah for all the meat? We'll be fine. I don't know what you might say. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ